Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea Party Podcast. It's the podcast where you find new friends and new music. And this week I am joined by a SoCal native that is absolutely crushing it right now. And the craziest part is she's only 17. I'm talking about Kylie Trout. Kylie, thanks for jumping on here with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get too far into it, we want to let everybody out there know that we've teamed up with Audible again this week. And as a thank you to everybody that supports the show, this month you can get an absolutely free audiobook and access to things like podcasts, wellness lessons, and of course, their humongous online library. If you're interested in that free trial, just head over to audibletrial.com/teaparty. That's audibletrial.com/TEEPARTY. But now let's tee it off with today's guest, Kylie Trout. And Kylie, before we get too deep into this, let's give everybody kind of the Cliff Notes version of growing up in Southern California and how you got into start playing music.
Yeah, so, I mean, from a very young age, I was always super in music. Music has always been my passion. My whole family was like a sports family, but I was like, no, I don't run, so not going to do sports. So luckily music was there for me. And honestly, growing up, I grew up with my grandparents for the first 8 years of my life. So they really introduced me to, that 90s country, old country, which I absolutely love. And it helped me a lot growing up because I grew up without my biological mom. So it was kind of like a saving grace for me because, it's tough growing up like that without your one parent there. So from a very early age, I just connected with music, and it reminded me that, we all go through the same emotions and feelings and we're not alone. So growing up, I just wanted to express that through my own music and help other people. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, and you're pretty open about the fact that you grew up without your biological mom. And how did that kind of set you up to get into music? I know a lot of people use music as kind of an escape. And you mentioned it, that you really kind of relate to it. But was there a moment that, you're able to draw on for inspiration, or, maybe something that, you can look back on and go, okay, this is the time that I really first kind of leaned on music to help me get through it?
Yeah, I always go back to a song by Kellie Pickler. It's called I Wonder, and it's about her mom. She grew up without her biological mom in her life. So I heard that when I was really, really young. I remember, listening to Kellie's CD, like in the car with my grandma, and I would always have to skip over that song because it would like make me cry. But then I listened to it a lot too, by myself, just because it reminded me, there's other people going through this and you're not alone. And just because, you see a lot of your friends with both their parents, there's still those other people that don't have that and they know what you're going through. And Kellie Pickler was one of those people. So I always looked up to her so much because I'm like, that takes so much courage to be able to be so open about it and talk about it. Because that's honestly, like, for me, that's my probably the biggest struggle I've ever gone through, So I would say Kellie Pickler, that song was like the point that made me be like, all right, I want to do that same thing. Like, I want to be able to help people the way that music and this song has helped me.
That's really inspirational, actually, being able to look back at a song like that. So like
Gotcha.
not having a parent in the picture, a mom or a dad, definitely makes it tougher. And I think it makes you almost mature maybe a little bit quicker, and which is good for you. I mean, especially at, with where you're at in your career being a little bit younger. Do you kind of see the same thing, that it helped you mature a little bit and helps you on this journey?
Yeah, no, 100%. I always say, I have a song out. It's called Can't Remember Growing Up. And that's about my mom and how I'm a strong believer in a good thing happening from a bad situation. So I would say, if that didn't happen to me, I don't know the person I would be today. So, everything in life carves who you are. So that is a big part of what carved me into the person I am today. And it did make me stronger. There's pros and cons to everything, it kind of messed me up in some ways, but I'm still pushing. I'm still kicking, but I I'm glad that it happened looking back now, and it makes you realize who deserves to be in your life and who doesn't. Life's not perfect and things happen. So just got to find the positive side to everything, I guess. But yeah.
That's a great way of looking at it. Not everything is black and white. It's not always good. It's all completely good or completely bad. But being on the younger side of this industry and really kind of coming out and finding yourself as a senior in high school now, what sort of hurdles are you seeing out there as a younger artist?
It goes both ways. Some people look at you and they're like, "Oh, like you're young, you got a lot of growing to do." And it's like, yeah, but I got some good things going on, And then the other side, they look at you and they're like, "Wow, like you're 17. What you're doing is awesome for your age." So it's kind of like it's a mix of both. Obviously, some venues are like 21 up, so that's really annoying. Because I'm like always the baby of the group. But I think personally it's really cool for me. Like I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, like I said, it gets kind of annoying being like the youngest, but I've been around people older than me like my entire life, so it's normal for me. And like you said, with the whole maturing faster thing, that's me. So everybody says I'm an old soul, so I guess I kind of fit in.
I feel like that makes it a little bit easier. When you go out and try and book a show at a place that's 21 and over, are you allowed to play there as an artist, or does that kind of limit where you can play?
Honestly, it has not been an issue. I mean, sometimes I just have to kind of like stay at my table or backstage or whatever. But it really hasn't been an issue at all.
Okay. Well, that makes it easier then, especially if you don't have to deal with that sort of thing. But as somebody kind of on the younger side of country music, I've been excited to ask you this question because I feel like I'm not going to get the answer that I expect. But who do you lean on for inspiration musically? Obviously, Kellie Pickler we talked about, but I bet you there's some people out there that people might not assume you lean on for inspiration.
Personally, I mean, when I was younger, I used to like only listen to country. But now, for these past few years, I love branching out into different genres and pulling inspiration from all the different bands and artists that I listen to. I would say I listen to country a lot. So like in country, I would say Luke Combs right now, Morgan Wallen, Hardy, Devin Dawson, absolutely amazing songwriters. So good. And then also I listen to, older stuff outside of country. Like I love Sublime, Pink Floyd, love, excuse me. It's kind of all over the place. I mean, like my playlist will go from like, I don't listen to that much rap, but like some rap and then to some like, rock, like Led Zeppelin or whatever. And it's kind of all over the place. I like taking inspiration from a bunch of different genres and making it my own.
And you can definitely hear that in your music. I think just listening to your sound, you sound a lot older and a lot more developed than I think people would assume. But you mentioned Morgan Wallen, and one thing that's really cool that I think you're doing is that you actually took a Morgan Wallen song and flipped it from the male perspective to the female perspective. And we're recording this a little bit early. The podcast will come out on Tuesday, but you're dropping that song on your YouTube this week?
Today, right? Actually.
Today? Nice.
Yeah. That was really cool. That was, it's funny because I did that a while ago and I posted it on TikTok and I only did a verse and a chorus. I saw somebody else do a female flip of a different song, but I was like, that'd be really cool. And I absolutely love Morgan Wallen, like absolutely love. So I was like, I'll do this song. And then I posted it on TikTok and, nothing really happened. And then last week or the week before, I reposted it on TikTok, and I actually only posted it because I was being lazy and I had nothing else to post. And it like blew up on TikTok, and I got like over 150,000 views, and everybody was like, drop this, we need this song. And I was like, wow, this is cool. So I went, I recorded a full acoustic version of it, and we're releasing it, and I'm excited. It's fun. It's super different for me, but it's cool.
And I've heard just a little part that you've released, and I really like, not just that, I like that Morgan Wallen song to begin with, but from your perspective, it just adds a different depth, not just to what you're doing, but also to that song as a whole. And they almost go go hand in hand. So we'll make sure to link that in the description of this podcast when it releases, so that everybody can go check that out.
That'd be awesome.
But using TikTok, is that something that you've, obviously, being in high school and being that age, that is the social media platform right now, that and Instagram a little bit.
Yeah.
But is that something where you started posting stuff on TikTok as a musician, or just as somebody that just wanted to be on TikTok and start posting things?
Personally, in the beginning, I absolutely hated TikTok. I hated it. I sucked at it. But now it's kind of like, it's kind of cool. Like when you see things start to like pick up and take off, it's super cool. It's crazy how the most random things on TikTok. This is why I don't like it that much, because, well, I like it now, but it's like the most random things that you wouldn't even think of. Like they're stupid and they blow up and you're like, what the heck? But yeah, I post music stuff, and I just post, comedy stuff that I think is funny. Kind of a mixture of both. It's cool. It's different.
It's funny that you talk about just random stuff on TikTok blowing up for no reason. I think I've been on TikTok for like, I don't know, 6 months. I started it at the beginning of the quarantine and just got hooked. And I made like 3 videos in like the first month and a half that I had it. And one of the videos was literally just me taking a shot in the shower. Mm-hmm. And it got 250,000 views. And I don't have another video over 1,000. It just makes no sense.
Right? It's so random. I actually did another TikTok, and I felt really bad for it after, when that whole Morgan Wallen thing. It's always a Morgan Wallen thing that blows up for me.
Hey, you know what to do.
Yeah, right? So when that whole thing went on in Alabama with all the girls, I made a TikTok kind of making fun of it. And that was like my first one that blew up. It got, I don't even know how many, like tens of thousands of views. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I didn't think that was going to blow up.
It's always that stuff. You always see that somebody's like, oh, I hope this isn't the one that blows up. And it's always that one that blows up for people.
Yeah. But I'm like, maybe I just need to start making like really embarrassing stuff and like not hoping for anything, and then maybe they'll blow up. I don't know.
See, there you go. Hey, it's the thing that I have noticed about TikTok though, is that there's quite an audience for country music fans that I didn't anticipate there being out there. And you've seen it yourself, with the song that you're putting out today.
Yeah.
But we've had Priscilla Block was on the podcast a while ago. She just had that song that blew up on TikTok.
That was how I heard of her.
So it's an interesting platform. I mean, do you have plans to kind of release music that way, or what does your music release plan look like, I guess, especially now with COVID?
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal. Like, that would be awesome. And like you said, there is a huge platform for country music on TikTok. I would say I was really shocked by that. Like, there's it's called like Country Talk. There's different sides of TikTok. Mm-hmm. Country Talk is absolutely huge. So I think that's really, really cool. And it's cool, especially during this whole quarantine thing, not just for country, but for musicians in general. Like, there's been so many people who've blown up on TikTok, musicians that were like nobodies before quarantine, and I think everybody's just been flocking to social media. But I mean, if one of my songs blew up on TikTok, that would be awesome.
Well,
sure.
I think there's kind of a secret sauce there that, if you can get your song out on TikTok and get people using it on their videos. We also had Kendall Conrad on the podcast a while ago, and she had a song that just absolutely went crazy on TikTok, and nobody had really heard of who she was before. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That, you just put that out and give people something to use in their videos, and it seems to work.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool though.
It is. It's a unique time, I think, for music. Right. Not just with TikTok, but releasing music in general when you've got everybody stuck at home. And I said this back in March to somebody, but I really feel like over the next 6 months or so, we're going to see some of the best art out there, just because people have been stuck at home doing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. It's a creative time. Actually.
Definitely.
It sucks that we can't go out and do shows or anything. However, I think it's been good for a lot of musicians to take a step back and just focus on themselves and their craft, you know?
Well, and you've had a chance to open up for some fairly big names. I think Jared Neiman, for example. But what's that opportunity like when you're out there opening up for a bigger name like that versus playing in front of people that you know came out to watch and listen to you?
I love it. Like opening for Jared Neiman, that was awesome. And honestly, sort of surreal because I grew up listening to him. So it's like you dream of playing your own shows one day, right? Big shows. But then it's like taking it to a whole nother level, I feel like almost when you're playing with somebody that you grew up listening to and you're like, I want to be like that. Like that's what I want to do. And then you're up there and you're like, wow, like this is it. This is so cool. So it's honestly probably one of my favorite things to do for sure.
So what was that like? What was the process like? Pull back the curtain a little bit when you got to open up for Jared Neiman. How did that get set up?
Oh, honestly, I think my manager just texted me one day and she was like, hey, so are you down to open for Jared Neiman? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, like let me know when and where and I will be there. It was just kind of like a, hey, want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I want to do
Of
that.
course.
But yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Let's change gears a little bit. I want to talk about your songwriting process and what that looks like. Are you one of those people that starts with a feeling or a melody or lyrics, or is your notes app on your phone just completely over full?
Oh, you know it. You know it. I have a whole like folder for unfinished songs and it's just like random ideas. But honestly, I always say for every song it's different, you know? You might one day create like a melody. I play guitar, so I might play some on guitar and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Or I might hear, a song and I play those chords and I'm like, okay, what if I switched it up like this? And then I write to that. Or, something will happen and I'll be like, this is a topic I really feel the need to write about. Or, shower thoughts or like waking up in the middle of the night and just being like having this idea in your head randomly. That happens to me a lot. That's where like most of my songs I feel like come from. That and things happening in life because that's what I personally like to do. I feel like it adds just a whole other realness element when you write about things that actually happen to you. It's more personal. But yeah, it's always different. That's like always the hardest question.
That's I ask some form of that question to almost everybody on the podcast, but I get almost the same answer every time, that it's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different all the time. And I think that really is true. Are you somebody that typically writes alone, or is there somebody that you like to co-write with, or do you just co-write with whoever's available?
I usually start off songs by myself, and then I typically bring them to, co-writers that I work with often. But again, it all depends.
Well, and you mentioned it that, you like to write about stuff that and you just released a song back in October, your latest single. It's called Extra. And I think anybody listening to it or anybody that's watched the music video can tell that there's a true story behind this song.
Exactly.
Am I right?
And that's so funny you say that. I remember being in the studio recording this song, and I didn't tell my producer, that it was a real story, and I was singing it, and he stopped me, and he was like, "This actually happened, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's funny that you say that. But yeah, again, that's why I like writing about stuff that actually happened because you can just feel it, you can just tell.
Well, give everybody kind of the scoop and the story behind this song, and what it was like writing this song.
Yeah, so this song was based on an ex-boyfriend of mine who, when we broke up, if I could describe him in one word, it's just extra, going out of his way, playing the follow then unfollow game just so his name would pop up on my phone. Those 21st century way of dating. And yeah, so I was like, I need to write a song about this, I don't like this guy. However, good song material. And then actually writing it, so I knew I had the idea in my head and I was like, Extra. I want it to be called Extra. So I brought it to my buddy Jason Hamer, great songwriter. I work with him all the time. And we wrote the whole song. And then afterwards, I was like, this doesn't feel complete. I didn't say everything I wanted to say in it. So then I worked with another songwriter on it. His name is Mark Addison Chandler. And we rewrote the whole thing again. But again, it just didn't feel complete. And then my family was like, hey, we'll help you write it. And I was like, oh, Lord. So then we rewrote it, and it just didn't work out. So then, I took all the ideas from all three versions that I wrote with different people, and I kind of combined it together and rewrote the entire thing by myself. And that's the version that you hear today.
Well, here, let's let everybody take a listen to it. This one, it came out in October. It's the newest music from today's guest, Kylie Trout. It's called Extra.
Why you gotta be so extra? Still hit me up when I don't text you back. Trying to show off with your new blonde for all eyes to see. Yeah, it's kinda funny, she looks like me. You unfollow, then follow my page, acting like I'm still gonna fall for all your games. But I'll tell you right now and make it real clear. Let me break it down so you understand. Extra, extra, I got some news, and I really hate to say it to you, but here it goes. Take notes and write it all down, study it at home. Extra, extra, one word, 5 letters. Ain't no question that you should know better. And it's a shame, but guess I'm to blame, cause ever since I left you, you put the X in. Extra, extra. Bringing me up all over town, man, you really can't get my name out your mouth. Extra, extra, I got some news, and I really hate to say it to you, but here it goes. Take notes and write it all down, study it at home. Extra, extra, one word, 5 letters. Ain't no question that you should know better. And it's a shame, but guess I'm to blame, cause ever since I left you put the X in. Extra, extra. Extra, extra. And now I see you driving around in your brand new caddy with the money that you take from your daddy. But that don't impress me much. Now it looks like you lost your touch, and now you're just extra, extra. Oh, extra, extra, I got some news, and I really hate to say it to you, but here it goes. Take notes and write it all down, study it at home. Extra, extra, one word, 5 letters. Ain't no question that you should know better. And it's a shame, but guess I'm to blame, cause ever since I left you, you put the X in. Extra, extra. Ooh, extra, extra.
And that one was called Extra by Kylie Trout. And now you guys know, you can really hear the story behind that, and you can tell that it's a real song. And you also put out a music video for the song, which I think was fantastic, because inside of that music video, you spill a bit more of the tea for everybody with some little tidbits, on the newspaper itself. Were all of those true as well?
So that was actually really cool. That was actually the lyric video. I still have the music video to be released very soon. But the lyric video is like a summary of the music video, which I'm so proud of my videographer. He did awesome on that. But yeah, you know, everything in there is just truth. So it was no shade to this guy, but like I don't even know if he knows it's about him. I don't even know if he's listened to it. But yeah, all true.
Well, you can definitely tell that that he was a bit extra by listening to the song. But now that you're past that, what can fans expect in 2021?
In 2021, I've been working on an EP. So that'll be released next year. Yes, I'm so excited because up until this point, I've only released singles, you know, and that's just build a platform and get people's attention, get your name out there. And it's gone very well so far. So now I'm so ready to just release a bundle of music instead of just one song. And I haven't finished recording all the songs yet. I have a couple songs done, but this is going to show a little bit of a different side of me. Songs are so cool. I'm so excited. I can't say too much, but I'm so excited, and I know people are going to like it. I just know. I got this feeling.
Hey, if it's anything like what you've put out before, I've got the same feeling. Where can people keep up with what you've got going on? What are your socials?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, kylietrout.com. That has links to all my music, socials, everything. And then I made it easy. All my socials are just at the Kylie Trout, so you can find me on any platform.
Even TikTok?
Even TikTok.
So what are some of your goals moving forward? I mean, is there anything that's really specific that you want to accomplish, maybe short term or long term in your career?
I mean, as of right now, nothing too specific, but I'm just itching to get back out and do shows and connect with fans, you know, in person, live. I really hope that comes back soon. That's been really hard. And just continuing writing music and expanding on my, you know, ability and just growing from here. I think that's my direction. Just keep growing.
That is a good direction to take. And you talk about the power of music a lot and how you use it to find inspiration, and that you hope that your music can be that inspiration for somebody else someday. If you could leave just kind of one message or one feeling with everybody that's listening today, what would you like people to think about when they think of Kylie Trout?
Just that, you know, you're not alone. And there's always somebody out there who's going through the same thing as you, and always try to look at the positive side of every bad situation, because everything happens for a reason. That's what I'm all about. So I hope that people take that from me. That
is a fantastic message to leave with everybody. And Kylie, it's been an absolute blast. We'll definitely have to do this again in the future, especially after you put out your EP. But before we let you go, we had every podcast the same way. It's called The Final Four, and it's probably the 4 toughest questions that I'm going to ask, just because it makes you think a little bit, okay?
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay, first one. If you could go on tour with anybody alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh, Toby Keith.
Oh, that was quick. You've thought about that.
Oh, I love Toby Keith.
Okay, how about this one? What's the best show that you've ever been to that you weren't playing at?
Oh, this is really hard. It's kind of funny because even though I sing and everything, I haven't really gone to a real concert. Everybody thinks that's weird, and I think it's weird too. I blame it on my dad. But I would say I went to Nashville, CRS in Nashville this past year, and I saw, who would I say was my favorite? Cody Johnson. Cody Johnson just hits
puts on
different.
A great show. He really does.
So I would say Cody Johnson for sure.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, how about this? What are the top 3 most recently played artists on your Spotify?
Oh, shoot. I just looked at this. I think Luke Combs was one. Morgan Wallen was one. Oh, my goodness. Who else? And I think Sublime. I think probably Sublime.
Okay.
Those 3. Yeah.
That's usually it takes people having to pull out their phone and actually look at it. You were ready. You had just looked already.
Yeah, I just looked at it.
Okay, how about this last one? What is your favorite on-stage memory?
On stage memory. Oh, I remember this one time. I was singing. Where was I singing? I was singing at this place called the Canyon Cowboy. And I was singing Tennessee Whiskey, and this drunk guy ran up on stage, and he just started singing with me. And oh, it was so funny. Everybody was like, "What the heck is going on?" But it was just so funny. So that was probably my most memorable experience on stage.
I feel like there's something about that song that, like I said, I asked this question on the podcast as well. And it seems like that song has tied into a lot of memories like that.
Yes, it's so good. Everybody knows it. It's so good.
It is. It really is. Well, Kylie, thank you so much for jumping on here. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, and I'm really excited to check out the full version of that song today and catch the EP when it drops.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And guys, that was another episode of the Tea Party Podcast. It's a country music podcast where you find new friends and new music like Kylie Trout and Extra.